Abhishek, tell me something about yourself.
Yes, Mohit. My name is Abhishek Vijayarao Chuddalwa. I am from Nagpur, Maharashtra. Uh, I have been working in TCS from past 3.5 years as a Salesforce certified developer. Currently, I am holding three certification: Platform Developer 1, App Builder, and the Admin. In my 3.6 years of experience, I have worked open configuration and customization part of the Salesforce. In configuration part, I have worked open app, tab, object, fields, approval processes, flows. And coming to customization part, I have worked open a base class, test class, batch class, and triggers. And I have also worked on data migration tools like import wizard, data loader, workbench. And then coming to my project, currently I'm working in a project called as Diageo. It is a leading beverage making company in the world. It is a agile based project, and we used to get user stories on Jira and how to work on them. And so I was given one task that whatever brands they have under them, there are different brands and they have under them like Ciroc, Captain Morgan, Bailey's, Almande, Black Label, John Julio. So these type of brands I have to gather from backend using Apex and show them on UI using LWC. Uh, and I have also given one task that I have to create one batch class to basically gather the raw data which used to be created by users in the Salesforce org, and then process that raw data into the business requirement. Just like that, we have channel on premise, off premise, where the users basically consume the beverage at the client side, or they used to take the takeout. So this type of pick list fields were there. I have to populate them, and certain other field I created date when the data was created, and what is the images and logos they have provided with that brand. So I have to just process that raw data, make them eligible to be able to show them on UI. So yes, then I have worked in the previous project on the Lightning pages, where the alignment and basically I have to keep the fields according to the business requirement, according to the market, what they specify. Plus, I have used a trigger to make certain field mandatory according to the market. Plus, I have used flows to send email to the users when the status of the particular custom object changed to in review or in query, so that user should be notified whenever there is change in the custom object. So that's all, Mohit. I have been working in projects as of now.
Right, thank you. Okay, so you have worked on flows, right?
Right.
Okay, let's begin with the flows and then we will explore the other parts.
Sure.
Can you tell me how many emails you can send from your flows and what are the different ways you can send email from flows?
Yes. For sending emails via flow, we have to create one email action, and in the email action, we have to mention the email uh, alert, and in email alert, we will first uh, create the email template, and we will use that email template in that email alert, and we'll fire that email alert via our flow. So basically, whenever I created one path, so whenever there is change in the custom objects status, I will fire that alert, and then yeah, sending the
There any
emails to
other
the
way? Is there any other way we can send email?
via flows.
Yep, via flows.
Via flows, I'm not sure about it. I have you worked on this one. Wait.
Okay, no problem. Just a second. Just a second.
Sure.
Right, so can you tell me what are the different types of flows we have in Salesforce?
Yes, majorly we have five types of flows in Salesforce. First is screen flow, then we have record trigger flow, we have schedule trigger flow, then we have platform trigger flow, and then we have auto launch flow.
And what type of flows you have worked on?
I have worked majorly on record trigger flow and the auto launch flow.
Okay, so when you get a requirement, how do you decide if you're going to use the before save flow or the after save flow? And how do you differentiate it, like whether when you are going to use trigger versus when you're going to use flows?
Okay. So first of all, if we want to choose between the trigger and flow, we will check whether it is a very complex business logic or not. We should write the code or not, because if we want to implement very complex logic, we should go via trigger. Triggers are very much capable of handling the complex business logics. But if we want that, the admin should be also be able to edit the structure, the flow. So we can go with flow, because flow can be very readable to all the users, and most of the functionality can be we can be able to achieve via flow as well, which can be done by a trigger. So yeah.
In your real-time experience, did you find any situation where you decided to do something with the flow and later on found that this is not possible with the flow and then you chose trigger, or vice versa?
No, I haven't got this type of situation,
Is there any
because
limitation of flows in terms of what you cannot do with the flow?
what we cannot do with the flow. Okay. So basically, so as of now, the coming to the callouts part, we have just get and post methods via flow. We don't have the overall all the functionality we can do via callout thing via flow, which can be done via trigger using calling the future method and the calling class into it. Then uh, flow can be used. Uh, so this difference I know actually as of now.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. Can we call a Lightning Web component from the flow?
Lightning Web component from the flow. No, I guess we got one. I'm not sure 100%, but I guess so. Cannot call the LWC one.
Do you follow
Yeah.
any best practices to create flows?
Best practices to create flow. Yes, just like we should not hard code the IDs in the flows. We should not uh, create like we should create a bulkified flow. Okay, whenever there is large number of data, we should be able to work. We should be able to handle via the flow. So flow should be bulkified, and mm, just like we should not basically uh, uh, we can have we cannot have the DML operations. Okay, more than we could not add lots of DML operation in the loop, so that uh, it will reach the timeout. The flow execution can reach the timeout easily.
Okay,
So yeah, this much I know.
all right. Fine. Can you tell me what is data SQ in Salesforce?
Data skew.
Yes.
Data skew is like if we have lots of records in a particular object, let's say account, we have 10,000 records, and if we want to perform the uh, operation, like we want to basically change the owner of those accounts, then it will be very time consuming process, because changing the records of 10,000 accounts for changing the user IDs it will be a very huge task. So first we will need to gather all the information, whatever account type, whatever the record types we have on the account, and what should be the impact of changing the owner ID from those accounts. So yes, it depends on the basically on the amount of data we have. So it is not recommended that we should have lots of records, let's say 10,000 or more in a one particular account. So it will cause us very difficulty in future if you want to perform any DML or data related tasks to them. So yeah, I know this much about
See, I
this.
have account object. Okay. In account
Okay.
object, what I want is that the combination of email ID and the phone number should be unique. Okay, so in the account, we have email ID and we have phone number. What I want is that the combination of email ID and phone number should always be unique. So there, let's say the email ID is xyz@abc.com and phone number is 123. There should not be any account with the same combination in whole database. Okay, how you're going to achieve this?
We can use duplicate rules to achieve this. Then we can write triggers as well to check if you are going to add one more account, whether this field, phone field and email field values are matching to the earlier created account records or not. Then we can also use flows is to achieve this. Yeah, this much I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, have you worked on data import wizard?
I didn't get a chance to work on them much. Yeah, but I worked on data loader and workbench.
Okay. Can you schedule your export in the data loader?
Schedule the export in data loader.
Yeah.
I guess no, we can do. I'm not 100% sure.
Can you can you make sure that we do not insert any duplicates via data loader?
Mm, look at the data loader. Yeah, we can via insert. We can. I guess we'll be having one checkbox to check whether the ID is already present or not in the data. We can check whether that ID is present. If that ID is present already, then whatever data we have that ID present in the database, then yeah, I guess we can throw an error if the same ID is getting inserted into the particular.
Yeah, if
Uh,
ID is already available and if we do upsert, then obviously it will do. But let's say we are updating, I mean, we are, let's say, creating new record and two records are almost similar. We are inserting a record, so there is no ID available already. We are inserting a record and two records have same data value in each.
mhm.
Will there will be two insert or there will be one insert?
Shall you please repeat the question, please?
Okay, I am uploading accounts via data loader. Okay,
Okay.
my file, I have two different accounts. Okay, but they
Mm.
have same data value. Okay, name
Okay.
is same and email ID is same. Every value is same. And I want to
Okay.
make sure that if there are duplicates in my file like this, then only one should be inserted instead of all. What I shall do, or is it possible to restrict or do this thing in Salesforce or not?
Uh, in Salesforce data loader, you mean?
Yep, in Salesforce data loader.
Salesforce data loader, basically to check the other fields rather than ID if they are same in the okay, same in the records. Then I'm not sure about this. I haven't really worked on this one.
Okay,
So yeah.
okay, no problem. No problem. Uh, Tell me, have you ever created a hierarchical type of custom settings in Salesforce?
Have I get custom setting? No,
Okay. Have
didn't
you
get a chance.
this custom setting in Salesforce?
Okay, custom settings are basically, should I explain the definition or?
Yep, whatever you want to explain, go ahead. Have you worked on it in the real-time project?
Yes, I have worked on the real-time project where I have to show the country code. Okay, so it was basically I have to mention whatever countries we want to ship the beer cartons. So I have created one section where the country code should be mentioned, and under the country code, I was using the custom setting to show whatever country codes we have um, to ship those beer cartons to. So for this one, I have used custom settings, created one checkbox so for uh, in front of those country code after getting it from the custom setting in
Get the
LWC
custom,
company.
how to get the
Yeah.
custom settings in your code?
Yes, to get the custom settings, we have methods like custom setting name dot get all. We have custom settings dot get instance to get the values of the custom settings in
Okay.
Apex. Yeah,
Can you delete an approval process?
delete and approve process. Uh, I guess yes, we can delete, but we need to first check whether there are any records which are already present in the approval process or not. I guess if we try to delete it, we will get an error that some records are still in approval process before deleting that approval process.
Can you delete a role from your org?
Role from an org. Ro- mm, yes, we can delete role.
Okay. Okay. Now coming back to the Lightning Web Component part, tell me, why do we use rendered callback?
Rendered callback. Yes, rendered callback is used. Okay, so it is first happens when all the mounting phase is done, and at the end the rendered callback will be called, and the rendered callback can be used to call other functions of the lightning component and from the apex. So once the creation and insertion of the component into the DOM is done, the rendered callback is called. And then if after the insertion and creation of the component, if we want to call a particular function or method, we can use rendered callback basically.
Okay, so what I'm doing is that I'm setting some value of my component. Let's say there is a variable. I'm setting a value in the rendered callback. But what happening is that it is, reloading the page because value
Mm.
is getting assigned. So it is reloading the page and the lifecycle looks will be called again. So
Mm.
in a way, there is a recursion happening in my lighting web component. How can I stop that?
Recursion is happening in the lightning component. Uh, mm, oh, I'm not sure about this. Hello. Yeah, I'm not didn't work on this one.
Hmm.
So didn't get a chance to.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
All right. Can you tell me the difference between when we should use the render method versus when you should use the conditional rendering to display the different UI?
Yes. Render method uh, basically used to conditionally render the different templates on the UI. So if you want to basically show template one instead of template two, we can write a logic inside the render method to basically show the uh, uh, template one if the property value is true, and if it is false, then we can conditionally show the template two on the HTML part. So if you want to conditionally show the templates on the HTML pad, we can use render method.
Then what is the need of conditional rendering? I mean, why do we use conditional rendering sometimes?
Conditional rendering. Yeah. So like based on the business requirement, we can uh, switch over the templates that we have in the HTML that we have implemented. So,
So in short, there is no difference between them.
uh, uh, no, I guess.
Okay. All right. Can you tell me what is the difference between let versus where keyword in JavaScript?
Yes. So the scope of the where is the global, okay, and it's functional, but the scope of the late keyword is in the block only. So let's say suppose we have one block where we have mentioned we have yeah, declared late, and then we want to mm, get the value uh, declared late, and if we want to again assign value to late out of that component, uh, and get the uh, data from that component data from that block, we will not be able to get, because late cannot be declared again, but the value of the late can be reassigned. And in case of where, the value can be reassigned, updated, but also the where variables can be redeclared as well. Yeah, so this is the difference between where and late.
So JavaScript is a very old language, and let keyword has been recently introduced. How did JavaScript survive for so many years without let keyword? Like obviously there is a requirement to have have a data type which is locally available. But how did they survive so many years without having this?
I guess where was serving the purpose uh, to the users, but yeah, at that time we had to follow the conventions while writing the code, that we should not uh, redeclare the where again, and we should not uh, uh, access the where keyword variable outside of that block. So yeah, we had to just follow the conventions, the best practice for achieving this before introducing the late keyword.
All right. Can you tell me what is slots in Lightning Web Component?
Sorry, could you repeat?
Slots, SLOTS.
No, I'm not aware of this.
All right. Uh, what is event propagation in Lightning Web Component?
Yes, event propagation is basically the phases in the LWC which we can use to communicate between the unrelated components. So it is the property of the Lightning message services. So we have event bubbling and event capturing phases under event propagation. So event bubble is like whenever there is a change in the child level, it can be populated up to the dome to the all the parents. And if coming to the event capturing phase, if there is change in the parent component, then uh, it can be then passed on to all the child component event capturing. So yes, so event propagation basically uh, is used to make sure that whatever the unrelated components that we want to update, those should be updated using the one component, particularly one component that we are working on. Yes, so this much.
Now, let's say I have created a component by which I am uploading a file okay, from the UI and saving it in the Salesforce database. Okay. The problem is that when I upload a file which is larger than, let's say, 2 MB, okay, I am getting errors. I'm getting heap size issue. Okay. So how will you debug this and how will you resolve this?
Okay. So yeah. So first of all, we are going to first check whether where that basically file is getting uploaded in our Salesforce, which is the object in which this file is getting uploaded. So like we have content version, content distribution, content document. So we will first check in that content document what is the limit that Salesforce has provided to store us the data, the storage of the data, so that beyond that particular limit, the size is extending for that file, we will not able to do it. So
So
yeah.
let's say I have a requirement to upload a file of M1, let's say 20 MB. Okay, and
Mm,
the heap size limit is 6 MB.
mm,
In synchronous, we have 6 MB heap size limit, and in asynchronous, we have 12. But we have to upload a file of 20 MB. How we can do that? Because see, Salesforce has a standard file upload component which uploads up to 2 GB. Okay, so we cannot say that it is not possible. It is obviously possible. That is why Salesforce has created that component. But if we have to create a custom component to do something like this, how we can do that?
okay. Mm, okay. So we can custom component to do that. Okay. Mm. So we can first check what is the size of the file, and then we can add one check that if the file size is greater than 6 MB for a synchronous and greater than 12 MB for asynchronous, we can fire one error message through an error message that this file's size is greater than 20 MB, and then it will not uh, be able to insert it into the Salesforce. Or
But that
this time
makes
check.
no purpose. That's what the client want us to create, us to be able to upload more than 20 MB file. That is why they have given us this project to, create this lighting
Okay.
requirement. So we cannot
Mm-hmm.
say this is not possible because that is what they want. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we have to find a way to do that, but maybe other day. All right. Can you tell me, see, when you create a method in Apex, when you create a method in Apex, how do you decide if that method is going to be static or an instance method? How do you decide that?
Static or instant. Yeah. So let's say we have method in Apex, and we want to call that method in a different class, in a different method, another method of that class. So we can then make our method as static if we want to expose this method to the other class as well, so that without creating the instance of the class, we can directly call the method without creating the instance of the class. So yeah,
If it is only
we should
about
use that.
how we call it, we could have called the instance method as well. Like we can call the instance method as well. I mean, that could not be the reason why we make a method static. If it is about how we call it, there are different ways of calling it, depends on which way we choose, but it cannot be the reason why we make a method static. Okay, there must be a bigger reason to create a method static or a non-static. It is not only about how we call it.
Okay.
How
I'm really not
how
sure.
we define a constant in Apex? We do not have any const variable
Yes.
constant.
Yeah. So for this, we can uh, make it as a final final static, so that it will be a constant one.
Okay, can you tell me
It
the
will like
difference between virtual versus abstract method?
virtual versus abstract method. Uh, No, I'm not that pretty much sure. I haven't like in a couple of days I worked upon it, so yeah,
All
I'm not
right.
too sure.
Okay. No problem. That is completely fine. It's okay. Can you explain me the order of execution?
Order of execution. Yes, the Salesforce defines certain order of execution whenever we do some data related operations in Salesforce. So we have should I explain all mm, the components that we have in order of execution?
Just
What
start
will it take?
explaining. I'll stop you whenever I'm satisfied.
Sure, sure. So first of all, we the system validations will run. Then the before trigger will run. Then we have custom validations will run. Then saving of the record will happen. Then duplicate rules will run. Then after triggers will run. Then we have assignment rules will run. Then auto response rules will run. Then the workflows will run. Then process builder will run. Flows will run. Then escalation rules will run. Then the roll-up summaries will run. Then we have the
That's fine.
uh,
See,
criteria-based sharing, and then database of
we have
commit will happen.
we
Yeah,
have before save flows as well, which runs before the trigger. So you need to include
right.
that as well. Okay.
Okay, yeah,
Otherwise,
right.
you will start on a wrong note and your interview will
Oh,
give
right.
correction. Okay. So before save flows are very important. Make sure that you mention them.
Before trigger, right? Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. Have you created interface in Salesforce?
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Can we delete queues in Salesforce?
Yes, we can delete queues in Salesforce.
So when we delete a record in Salesforce, and let's say from the recycle bin, when we restore that record,
Hmm.
will it create a new record, or it just restore that record with the same ID?
Yeah, it will restore that record with the same ID. New record will not be created.
Okay. Can you write undelete scenario in flows?
Undelete scenario in flows. No, it is still not available in flows.
Have you worked on integration?
I know the basics of the integrations. Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me the difference between authentication and authorization?
Yes, authorization is basically what user can do in the system, and the authentication is the user is able to get the access into system or not. Yeah,
And can you tell me what is the connected apps?
connected apps are basically used if you want to make call out to the um, okay, if you want to make call out to the external system, then the connected callbacks is used to basically make whitelist the particular URL
But
to
that is
which we are going.
right. I mean, see, when we have to do callouts, we need not to be worried about connected apps. Connected apps we only require when we allow some other third party system to call Salesforce. Okay, when we allow another system to,
Okay, okay.
get access on the Salesforce, then we use connected
Salesforce.
app. For
Okay.
to call out, we use remote site settings and
Remote site settings. Okay,
not.
yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So
Yeah.
remember that. See, if you just tell the basics of integration, these are the basic questions you will always get. They will
Yeah.
ask you auth 2.0 flow as well. So we will talk about that. I have not covered that yet, so not asking much from that topic. All right.
Yes.
Okay. So one final question. Okay. What is
Sure.
happening in my org is that sometimes when I update an opportunity, I get errors. I get
Okay.
errors like, this process builder has failed, or this flow has failed, or this particular trigger has failed. Every time I'm getting different errors. Sometimes I'm able to update an opportunity. Sometimes I'm not able to update the opportunity. What could be the issue?
sometimes you're able to update the opportunity, but sometimes you're not able to update the opportunity. Uh, like it can be depend upon what fields. I'm not sure, but I can try like if depends on what fields we are going to update particularly in that opportunity. Let's say
I'm
on one
updating
field.
I'm updating same field every time. Let's say I'm just changing the status to close one.
Uh,
Sometimes
okay,
I'm able to save, sometimes I'm not able to save.
okay,
And the behavior is completely random. So for the same opportunity, if I once change it to close one, I'm able to, but if I try it again, I'm not able to for the same opportunity. So it's not about different opportunities or different field values. It's same opportunity, but behavior is different. Sometimes I'm able to save it, sometimes I'm not able to save it.
okay, and the user is same every time.
Yeah, same user. And I'm using Salesforce admin profile, Salesforce administrator profile.
So for using, okay, I see. Every time you're going to update the same field. Okay, status.
Okay, let me give you some hint. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So there are, I mean, error is coming on the different process builder, sometime flow, sometime process builder, sometime trigger. So it is not specific to one process builder or flow or trigger. Okay, it is specific to that opportunity transaction. As a whole transaction, we are getting this error. Sometimes the whole execution fails when we update one process builder. Sometimes it fails on the another process builder. So this is not associated with a one particular process builder. This is associated with whole transaction of opportunity and what is happening in that
Okay.
transaction. So the error is CPU timeout. Okay. So
CPU timeout.
the moment when CPU timeout hit, at the time in whatever process builder we are, that process builder will give us error.
Okay, okay, right.
So this is basically CPU timeout, and error will be something like this process builder failed and you have utilized the maximum limit or whatever. It will not tell you that this is CPU timeout. You have to figure it out that this is CPU timeout. Now coming back to the resolution part, we have found that this is CPU timeout. What will be your steps to resolve this?
Okay, so first of all, as we are going to change the status to the closed opportunity, then like we will check, yeah, related objects basically for the opportunity. Let's say we have code line items, so we will check, uh, do we have written some process builder flows on those related objects or not? Because those objects will be also updated once the opportunity will be updated. And then might be from those related objects, these process builders are getting triggered on the different criteria that are getting satisfied on the code line and code line items uh, related objects. So this
To resolve this,
might become the issue.
how will you resolve this?
Okay. To resolve this, mm, we should first recalibrate our process builders and flows which are written on the code line items, so that they should not be there should not the continuous processes
But can you
getting
repeat
created.
what will you do? Can you repeat what will you do?
We will recalibrate our process builders and flows so that continuous processes are not getting changed in a manner once the Kotlin items are getting created.
How you
Yeah.
will recalibrate?
Okay. To recalibrate, we can check the flows. Uh, in flows, like uh, uh, why we created that flow? What was the purpose first of all, and then mm, can we change the logic which is written in the flow, so that let's say suppose we are making lots of inner lots of loop checks in the flow, so we can avoid those loop checks. We can create another subflow. We can add um, those checks in the subflow. Uh, so like we can recalibrate the flows we have different methods. We can call apex. We can use the asynchronous mode in the flows, so that whatever the processes are happening in synchronous manner, we can shift those processes in the asynchronous one if they are not that much important.
What will you
So
use for asynchronous?
yeah, so asynchronous is used to basically uh, keep the methods or transaction in the background if we don't want the results of the
What I want to know is that in this scenario, which asynchronous things you are going to use?
in this manner. Okay, in let's say if you want to update the quote line items, uh, the if you want to basically change uh, the different values of the different fields of the quote line item, if this is a scenario in our after update one, so we can then check, we can shift all these processes into the asynchronous one rather than synchronous one.
See, there are so many options available in the asynchronous, and that is why I'm specifically asking you what asynchronous tool you are going to use for this. Okay, I don't want to know that. I mean, I know you will use asynchronous, but what asynchronous options you will use is something I'm interested in.
Different options of asynchronous, you're asking?
No, I'm asking that there are so many asynchronous options. I can use future method, I can use queuable apex, I can use batch apex, I can use so many other things. So which one you're going to use?
Okay, so for this one we can use the queuable method basically, because queuable is more powerful. We can uh, check the job ID as well in the queuable one, and then we can check what is the progress of our uh, transaction on the portal item, which is we have written in the uh, queuable method.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think that should be all from my side, Abhishek. I'll stop recording
So,
and
so
get
can
back
you
to
ask like
you.
the trigger code in